So we've got 2 weeks to go until the Super Rugby season kicks off, and the Sharks have finally announced their leadership and their squad for the season ahead. The man next to me, Rugby World Cup winner Lukhanyo, is the captain for the Sharks this year. Lukhanyo, before we talk about the Sharks captaincy, I want to take it back a bit. I was reading an interesting article by Spoom Jigaliso talking about your come up basically, and sort of the hardships that you've had until you've reached the point that you have. And at a stage, you were playing at the Falcons before you came to the Sharks. Can you maybe just start there and tell us where your mind was at that stage of your career, considering how much has happened in 5 years' time?
Yeah, okay, that might take a bit long. But yeah, it's been a journey, man. My junior levels I played at Border. And then on my second year when I was 21, I decided to move up to Falca. The whole idea behind it was because there were bigger unions around Falca, and the plan was,
Get noticed by the Lions or the Bulls, something like that.
And unfortunately things didn't go to plan, and I headed back to East London, back to Border. That's where actually I got scouted from, playing there at Border at senior levels, and then I got offers, and I was fortunately enough to get scouted by the Sharks, and that's when I made my move.
You came to the Sharks, and I don't know if it was almost immediately, but they put you on loan to the Kings, and that was basically your breakout season. When you moved to the Kings, were you positive or were you negative, or were you just happy to be at a big union playing in Super Rugby?
I was very happy. Coach at the time was Coach Gary Gold. He was quite honest with me that he will give me an opportunity, but because the season is long, but there's also opportunity of me, getting exposure playing at the Kings at Super Rugby level, and I was really excited, because I believed getting the opportunity of playing at Super Rugby, that's where I'd be able to showcase, myself, and I went to the Kings. Things went pretty well for me. I got the game time that I wanted, and got noticed, and coming back here to the Sharks made things easy for me.
I guess they didn't hesitate in calling you back. 1 year at the Kings, they said, no, you're coming back.
Yeah.
Fast forward a couple of years, you played some really good rugby for the Sharks in Super Rugby. You ended up making your Springbok debut. It's hard to believe it's 15 tests, right? You've played 15 tests, you're a Rugby World Cup winner. Just looking back at that, do you sometimes have to pinch yourself and think, okay, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was at the Falca, won the Rugby World Cup. You've done everything that there kind of is to do,
Yeah. Jenny, I've enjoyed, obviously the ups and downs, but I've enjoyed every moment in it, and I've never taken it for granted, at any stage. To where I'm at today, I'm really happy. Decisions that I've made, the sacrifices that I've made, it made me even enjoy the moment even more.
Look, I know we could talk for hours about your career, but I was lucky enough to cover the Rugby World Cup and be with you guys while you were there, and amazing journey for me myself. But the main highlight for me was sitting in the stands. When you guys scored that first try, it went through the hands, you passed it to Marks passed it to Mapimps, he ran down the wing, chipped it over, there you were, chasing the ball, you recovered it.
Yeah.
You probably could have run and scored, but in that moment, as soon as you got the ball, what made you think to just offload to Mapimpi? Or, did you know he was there? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, I knew he was there, and at the moment, I had to make a quick decision. I saw the line and I saw a defender. Could have, shouldn't have. I don't know if it was going to be a 50-50. Maybe momentum could have taken me over. Maybe I would have knocked it, on the ground. I thought the easier or simpler way. Obviously, there's a risk in the pass as well.
100%.
Could have knocked it, but now I backed his finishing skills. I saw him just before I caught that ball, and I just decided to.
You knew he was there. You knew he was in space.
Yeah. To give it to a person that's in a better position.
It was an absolutely fantastic try.
Yeah.
You guys obviously won the World Cup. The night of celebrations was amazing, but it didn't end there. You came back home, a good 2 weeks on the trophy tour. Just looking at the trophy tour, I suppose the most special thing for you must have been going back to the Eastern Cape, to where you're born and bred, and taking the trophy there. What was that like for you?
Oh, that feeling was unreal. Yeah, it was a special feeling, probably the best, feeling ever. Got to realize when you got home, with all the support, the numbers that you're out and the love that you got from the country was just special.
Back to the Sharks announcement, you've been named as captain. When did that conversation come up, and how long did you take to sort of think about it? Were you at all hesitant about taking the role, or did you think it was sort of a natural progression in your career to step into a leadership role?
Yeah, when Coach Sean called me in, yeah, he mentioned it with a few other names, and said, "Oh, can go think about it, and come back to him if it's something that I would consider." Yeah, I went home, I thought through it, and I got to understand if I do it, the responsibility behind it, and I realized, for him, backing me as being a captain, it means he's seen something, and naturally you get different types of leaders, and I am a leader in my unique way, and I just respected the backing, from him selecting me as one of the leaders, and I was like, yeah, I'm up for it, and yeah, I took it from there.
You've got quite a few leaders around you anyway in the team, the leadership group that he's named, but I mean, there's also guys like Tera that have led the team for a couple of years. Louis obviously was last year's captain. You feel like there's plenty of people to lean on. You don't, I mean, it kind of reminds me of Sia in a way that there's so many people to lean on that you actually maybe don't have to do as much talking as people would think a captain needs to do.
Yeah, there's definitely quite a few handful leaders and guys that are experienced in that matter, and there's not much pressure on me, and that's the nice thing of having the leadership group, that not everything is I need to take care of it. Yeah, there's guys that are there, and we always working together as the group, and that's how it's going to be for the rest of the season.
Just last question, having won a Rugby World Cup, has it given you a different perspective on your career? I mean, I was mentioning it earlier that before we went to the Rugby World Cup, we spoke to a guy like JP Peterson, and he admitted that the second year of, the year after they won the Rugby World Cup was horrendous for him. And do you take lessons from that, or I mean, has it happened for you? Have you put it behind you? You've locked away the winners' medal and focused on a new year and new journey?
Yeah, that's that's
the plan.
Yeah, that's the plan. But yeah, 2020 season, I feel it's going to be another big one, and now obviously there's more expectations, and from my side, yeah, I'll try being the best that I can be at the moment, and contribute as much as I can for the team and the country. So 2020 season, I'm really looking forward to it and excited, and see what it has for me, I guess.